The glass doors of Reed Enterprises slide open with a hiss, and Emma steps inside, her worn shoes echoing against the marble floor. She clutches a small folder. Her resume, the last symbol of her hope. What would you do if the only door left to knock on was the one you swore you'd never enter again? Her voice trembles in her thoughts. The air smells like money, polish, and power. Everything she's lost. She's here for a janitor job, not knowing that the name behind the company, Daniel Reed, belongs to the man who once promised her forever. The receptionist glances at her kindly, unaware of the storm that's about to return to this building. Far above, in an office of glass and silence, Daniel looks down through the tinted windows, unaware that his past has just walked back into his world. Emma sits across from a panel of quiet professionals, her resume trembling slightly in her hands. The hum of the fluorescent lights seems louder than her heartbeat. She answers every question with humility. About her past jobs, her work ethic, her need for stability. But behind her calm voice lies a silent truth. She once dreamed of running her own cafe, not mopping floors. As she leaves the room, the HR manager exchanges a look with Maria, whispering softly, "She's overqualified." Outside the glass partition, Daniel watches from above, unable to look away. His chest tightens with recognition he doesn't yet want to believe. The name he saw, Emma Collins, echoes in his mind like a ghost refusing to rest. Daniel stands by the tinted glass wall of his office, looking down at the floor below. He sees Emma leaving the HR department, her steps slow but proud. For a brief second, she glances up, not knowing he's watching. Their eyes do not meet, but fate seems to pause between the floors of that building. His mind races. Could it really be her? After all these years, the ache of 10 lost years presses against his chest, heavier than any corporate success. Behind him, Maria enters to deliver reports, her eyes catching the tension in his jaw. "Is everything okay, sir?" she asks softly. Daniel just nods, but his silence speaks more than words ever could. Later that afternoon, Emma receives a call. She's hired. Her eyes widen in disbelief as Maria hands her a small envelope. "Welcome to Reed Enterprises," Maria says, her tone formal yet kind. Emma nods, whispering a quiet thank you. The pay is modest, the hours long, but it's work. As she walks through the lobby again, something inside her shifts. She catches a glimpse of the CEO's portrait on the wall, Daniel Reed. Her heart stutters, but she shakes her head, dismissing it as coincidence. No, it can't be him. The camera lingers on her uncertain eyes, the past whispering through her pulse. Somewhere upstairs, Daniel closes his laptop, trying to steady his own breathing. Evening falls. The office empties, leaving behind a hush of machines and distant city noise. Emma walks the corridors with a mop and bucket, learning her route for the night shift. Her steps echo gently. She pauses at the glass wall of the executive floor, staring at the view. The same view they once dreamed of when they were young and poor, planning a future together. She doesn't see Daniel enter behind her. He freezes at the sight of her, time folding in on itself. Her reflection glows faintly in the glass, and in it, he sees the woman he lost. "Emma," he whispers, too softly for her to hear. The lights flicker once, casting both of their silhouettes across the floor, two souls divided by distance, destiny, and disbelief. The next morning, the building hums with rhythm, coffee machines, hurried footsteps, and the heartbeat of ambition. Emma pushes her cleaning cart across the executive floor, humming faintly to herself, lost in routine. Behind the frosted glass of the CEO's office, Daniel watches her from a distance, pretending to be absorbed in his calls. Every movement she makes, every quiet breath, pulls him back to the summer they first met. How can someone so familiar feel like a stranger? He wonders. When their eyes almost meet through the glass, he turns away, afraid of the truth he's not ready to face. Fate plays its hand. As Daniel exits a meeting, A careless intern bumps into Emma's cleaning cart. Coffee splashes across his sleeve. "I'm so sorry," she blurts, rushing forward with paper towels. Daniel freezes at her voice. That voice, soft, careful, trembling. She doesn't look up immediately. When she does, time stops. Recognition flickers, then vanishes as she quickly lowers her eyes. Apologizing again. He forces a composed smile, replying simply, "It's all right." But his heart thunders. 10 years vanish in an instant. Emma, unaware, turns away, her mind oddly unsettled by the man's familiar tone. Later, Emma finds herself in the employee break room, pouring water into a paper cup. Her hands tremble. Why did that man's voice shake her like that? She brushes it off, focusing on her tasks. Meanwhile, Daniel sits in his office staring at an old photo tucked in his drawer. A picture of 2 teenagers laughing under summer rain. His throat tightens. Maria enters quietly, noticing the photo. Her name? Emma Collins, right? She asks gently. Daniel nods, voice low. Don't say anything. Maria hesitates, then leaves him alone with the weight of unfinished history. Over the next few days, small things begin to change. Emma's supply locker gets quietly restocked with better cleaning tools. Her shift hours are adjusted, subtly, mercifully, giving her more rest. She wonders why. Maria watches her with a knowing expression, saying nothing. Daniel orchestrates it all silently, watching from afar, careful not to expose his heart too soon. Sometimes love returns not with words, but with unseen hands that still remember your pain. Emma begins to feel a strange warmth in a place that once felt cold. That evening, as rain lashes against the glass walls, Emma finishes her shift, standing alone by the lobby window. The city lights shimmer through the storm, the same kind of rain that fell the night they last saw each other. Daniel appears behind her, holding an umbrella, about to step forward, but stops. He watches her reflection in the glass, the way her eyes soften at the sound of thunder. If I speak now, he whispers to himself, will I heal her or break her again? The moment stretches like eternity. Then he turns, leaving silently as she stares out, unaware of the ghost still standing in the same storm with her. The building is silent, wrapped in the hum of night. Emma hums faintly as she cleans the upper hall, unaware that Daniel is still working late. He sits in his dim office, staring at his reflection more than his screen. When the lights flicker, she steps inside to check the fuse box, and their eyes finally meet. For the first time, there is no glass, no shadow between them. She freezes. The mop slips from her hand, the sound echoing through the empty hall. Daniel, she whispers, her voice fragile, breaking through a decade of silence. He stands slowly, eyes filled with disbelief and longing. The air trembles with words that both of them have waited too long to say. The silence shatters under the weight of memory. Daniel takes a hesitant step forward, his voice unsteady. You're really here? Emma's breath catches, her past and present colliding in one heartbeat. Images flash in her mind. The summer fair, the promises, the rain-soaked goodbye. Why are you here? He asks, his tone breaking. She lifts her chin, strength returning. Because life doesn't always care who we used to be. The words sting, but there's truth in her calm. The years between them collapse, leaving only the ache of what was lost and what might still remain. Daniel reaches into his desk and pulls out a small, worn envelope. Creased, stained by time. You left this, he says softly. Her eyes widen. That letter. She takes it, her hands shaking. It was the one she wrote before leaving town, explaining everything. Her father's debt, her reasons for disappearing, her love that never died. I never got your reply, she whispers. Daniel's voice cracks. I never sent one. My father intercepted it. He didn't want me chasing someone beneath my future. Silence falls again, heavy and raw. Tears blur her vision, but they don't fall. Not yet. For a long moment, neither speaks. The storm outside echoes the silence within. "Do you hate me?" Daniel finally asks, his voice barely audible. Emma looks up, her eyes tired but kind. "No," she says quietly, "but I stopped waiting." Her honesty cuts deeper than anger ever could. He exhales, looking away. The CEO stripped nothing but regret. She turns to leave, pausing at the door. "Whatever you think I want, Daniel. I only came here to work, not to remember." She walks away before he can speak again, leaving him in the dim light of the truth he can't undo. Moments later, Daniel rushes to the window, staring at the city lights below. He presses his palm against the cold glass, whispering to the night, "I still love you, Emma. Down in the lobby." Emma wipes her eyes with her sleeve before stepping outside into the rain. She looks up at the building, her reflection shimmering in the puddles, and for the first time she allows a single tear to fall. The storm hides her sorrow as she walks away, unaware that Daniel is still at the window, watching her fade into the rain. The past is no longer a ghost. It's alive, and it's not done with them yet. Days turn into weeks. Daniel becomes a quiet observer, hiding behind the glass of his corner office. Every morning, he sees Emma arrive before sunrise, mop in hand, shoulders squared, spirit unbroken. She works with calm precision, her silence echoing louder than any apology could. He wants to speak, but every word dies before reaching his lips. To her, he's just another powerful man living in a world above hers. To him, she's the only part of his life that ever felt real. How do you fix something that never truly broke, just drifted away, he thinks, staring down at the woman who still carries his heart without knowing it. One evening, Emma finds an envelope tucked into her locker, a bonus slip unsigned. Confused, she takes it to Maria. "Must be a mistake," she says, but Maria shakes her head slightly. "No, mistake. You earned it." Emma looks down at the slip. More money than she's seen in months. Her lips part in disbelief. She walks away, whispering softly, "Thank you, whoever you are." Upstairs, Daniel leans against his desk, listening to the faint hum of the cleaning cart down the hall. He smiles faintly, his eyes wet but proud. "She still refuses pity, even from me," he murmurs. The office is tense. A client meeting turns hostile, raised voices blame, chaos. Through the glass, Emma watches as Daniel defends his team, calm yet fierce. She admires the man he's become, though she tells herself it's just respect. Later that night, she quietly cleans his conference room, noticing a forgotten folder on the table. Inside, a picture of the company's charity project for underprivileged youth. Her eyes soften. "He still has a heart," she whispers. She closes the folder gently, unaware that Daniel is standing in the doorway, watching her with the same reverence he once had for her courage. The next day, Daniel calls Emma into his office under the pretense of a facility inspection. She steps inside cautiously, eyes avoiding his. He gestures to a new role: maintenance supervisor, better pay, better hours. "You've earned this," he says softly. But she shakes her head, her tone steady. "I'm fine where I am." He blinks, stunned. "Why refuse?" She meets his gaze finally, eyes steady. "Because I don't need to be rescued, Daniel. Not anymore." The words pierce him, leaving silence heavy in the air. For the first time, he sees her not as the girl he lost, but the woman who found herself without him. That night, Daniel stands alone before his office window, his reflection merging with the city's neon glow. He realizes he's built an empire to prove something, to himself, to his late father, to the world, but never to the one person who mattered. Down below, Emma finishes her shift and steps out into the night. Their reflections pass each other in the glass. His above, hers below. Two lives mirrored yet divided. Maybe this is what love looks like, he thinks, when pride stands in the way of truth. The rain begins again, soft and endless, washing away everything but the ache of unfinished love. It happens suddenly. The city lights flicker, then vanish. The entire building plunges into darkness, the hum of machines fading into silence. Emma, working late again, grips her flashlight, heart racing. Somewhere on the top floor, Daniel curses under his breath, caught in the dark too. The emergency lights glow faintly red, painting the halls like memory itself, haunting and alive. As Emma moves toward the stairwell, she hears a voice echo down the hall. Familiar, deep. Emma. She freezes. The beam of her flashlight meets his silhouette. For a moment, everything, time, pride, pain, stands still. Looks like fate still likes to mess with us, Daniel says softly, breaking the silence. Emma exhales, gripping her mop handle like armor. You shouldn't be here, she whispers. Neither should you, he replies, stepping closer. The flashlight trembles in her hand. Their faces are inches apart now, shadows flickering across memories of what they once were. You think I haven't tried to forget, he says, voice cracking. You were my reason for everything, Emma. Her breath catches. Then why did you let me go? Silence. Only rain and heartbeat. Finally, Daniel answers. Because I thought I had to become someone worthy of you. Emma's hands shake as she pulls the old letter from her pocket, the one she found in his office days ago. You kept it all this time, she says softly. Daniel nods. Because it was the only proof you were real. She steps closer, voice trembling. You couldn't have found me. He swallows hard. I tried, but by the time I was ready, you were gone. And success became the only way to silence your memory. Her eyes fill with tears, but they don't fall. You don't silence love, Daniel, she whispers. You bury it, but it always grows back. The red light flickers again, like the pulse of their past, still beating. The silence turns heavy. The building hums faintly as backup power flickers on. Daniel finally steps forward. Emma, I don't want to pretend anymore. She looks up, eyes full of disbelief and exhaustion. You think you can fix the past with words? He shakes his head. No. But I can start by saying the one thing I should have said 10 years ago. He takes her hand gently. No pride, no power, just trembling truth. I'm sorry. The apology hangs in the air, fragile and real. For a moment, the storm outside softens, as if even the rain pauses to listen. The lights buzz back to life, flooding the hallway with white brilliance. For the first time, they see each other clearly, not through glass, not through memory, but as they are now. Emma exhales, shoulders trembling. It's too late, she whispers, but her voice lacks conviction. Daniel steps back, eyes searching hers. Then let me earn tomorrow. A faint smile flickers across her lips. Brief, but real. The lights hum steady again, the storm easing into silence. As she walks away, Daniel stays rooted. Heart racing. Hope reborn. The building breathes again, and so do they. Morning dawns with chaos. News spreads like wildfire. Reed Enterprises under investigation for financial misconduct. Cameras swarm outside, journalists clawing for quotes. Inside, Daniel stands before the boardroom window, face pale, eyes hollow. It's not true, he mutters. Voice steady, but spirit cracking. Emails flood in. Employees whisper in corners. Investors vanish. Emma watches from a distance as people she once admired turn their backs on him. Pride and power crumble in real time, and the man who once looked untouchable now stands stripped of everything but truth. When the world walks away, she thinks, who stays? The board turns cold. Maria argues in vain. He didn't authorize those transfers, but the room has already judged him. Daniel stands still, hands on the table, taking the blame for others' mistakes. I built this company, he says quietly, but somewhere along the way, I forgot who I was building it for. When the meeting ends, chairs scrape, feet shuffle, and the silence that follows is crueler than the accusations. Outside, Emma waits with a flask of coffee, trembling slightly. When he walks out, she doesn't speak. She just hands it to him. No pity, no words, just presence. The evening news broadcasts the scandal. Stock drops, angry investors, betrayal. Alone in his darkened office, Daniel watches the headlines replay. Billionaire CEO under fire. He leans back, covering his face with his hands. Downstairs, Emma overhears co-workers gossiping, mocking his fall. That's what happens when you think you're untouchable, one sneers. She grips her mop tighter, anger flashing through her calm. You don't know him, she whispers. That night she leaves a note on his desk. You don't owe the world perfection, just truth. Days later, Daniel calls a press conference. Cameras flash like lightning as he steps to the podium. His voice is calm, not defensive, just human. If mistakes were made, they were mine. I take full responsibility. Reporters fire questions, chaos rising, but he stands steady. Upstairs, Emma watches the broadcast from the janitor's break room, heart swelling with quiet pride. He's finally learned that power isn't control, it's courage. When the conference ends, the board resigns. Daniel is left with nothing but clarity, and maybe that's everything he needed. Night falls. The building is empty. Daniel walks through the quiet halls one last time, the empire he built now stripped to silence. In the lobby, Emma is mopping the floor, as always. He stops, unsure if he has the right to speak. She turns, eyes calm. You stayed, he says softly. She nods. Someone had to keep the floors clean while the world fell apart. They both laugh. Small, tired, real. He looks at her not as the girl he lost, nor the worker he tried to save, but as the woman who stood when everyone else ran. And in that moment, he realizes, love isn't in the rise. It's in who stays when you fall. Morning breaks quietly over the city. Inside the boardroom, Daniel signs his final papers. Resignation letter, company transfer, the end of an era. Cameras flash outside the building, hungry for the fall of a billionaire. But Daniel feels lighter than he has in years. He looks around the office, the glass, the titles, the endless climb, and realizes it was all a cage built from good intentions and bad pride. He slips off his watch, sets it on the table, and whispers, "Time's up." As he walks out of the office for the last time, the morning sun cuts through the clouds, painting gold across his path. A quiet symbol of freedom, finally earned. Whiny. Daniel steps into the lobby with a small box of belongings. A pen, a framed photo, a folded letter. Employees avert their eyes, unsure how to face a fallen legend. Only one person meets his gaze, Emma, standing with her mop near the window. Their eyes lock, and for a moment, the noise of the world fades. She smiles faintly. "Leaving so soon?" she asks softly. "Just leaving the wrong life," he replies. She looks down, emotions tangled between pride and pain. "Then, I guess, congratulations." He laughs quietly, the first honest laugh in years. "Not yet," he says. "Not until I find what matters again." Outside, rain begins to fall. Light, soft, cleansing. Daniel steps out, no umbrella, letting it wash over him. Behind him, Emma appears, holding one in her hand. "You'll get soaked," she says, half smiling. "Maybe that's the point," he replies. They stand there, two silhouettes in the drizzle, the city alive around them. "Do you ever think about us?" he asks quietly. She exhales. "Every time it rains." The words linger in the air like music. No grand gesture, no speech, just two souls standing in the same storm, no longer running from. They sit together on a bench outside the building, the rain easing into mist. For the first time, there's no tension, just quiet understanding. "You built everything people dream of," Emma says softly. "And lost everything that mattered," he replies. She studies his face, older, humbler, finally human. "Maybe that's how we find peace," she whispers, "by losing what was never really ours." Daniel nods slowly, eyes glistening. "Then what's left?" She smiles, the kind that warms through sorrow, the part that's real. Their hands touch, tentative, fragile but alive. Weeks later, the old corporate building stands quiet under renovation. A small cafe opens across the street, Collins and Reed. Inside, Emma wipes down a wooden counter while Daniel adjusts a menu board. The sign outside reads coffee. Honest. Simple. No suits, no power. Just peace. He brings her a cup and smiles. "Finally built something that matters," he says. She smiles back, warm and sure. The camera pans out through the cafe window. Two former lovers, now partners, not by fate's design, but by choice. Sometimes, her voice narrates softly, you have to lose everything to remember what love really means.